So a few months ago I had this idea of building a PC for the car. Something that would let me play virtually any media file that I wanted without being restricted to those that are supported by a particular head unit. And the other advantage that appealed to me about having a CarPC is I'm not restricted to just playing media. I can have any program I want available to me. So the whole concept of a CarPC really appealed to me, especially because one of the things that I was really looking forward to being able to do was to have the CarPC show the information from the car's ECU on the screen of my head unit. So every car has a little computer in them that monitors and runs the engine, and it can tell you all sorts of things, from the simple stuff such as RPM right through to some more advanced things like ignition timing, injector duty cycle, engine airflow, and things like that. So the whole idea just seemed like a really good one at the time. Little did I know it would take a lot of trial and error to get to where we are today. So lots of different hardware has been tried, and eventually we settled on what we've got. And what we've got is built into a standard 1RU rack case that you can get from most decent electronics suppliers, and we'll show you what's inside. On the front though, before we do that, you can see that I've got a power switch, and there's a USB socket on the front there, and that's really only for maintenance. Once the thing's permanently mounted and hidden away, I will have a separate USB socket hidden out of the way in the vehicle, most likely in the center console. So we won't be using the front one unless there's a very specific reason to. So let's take the top off anyway. Alright, so inside the box you can see that obviously we've got Dell netbook, and to run the Dell in the car we've got a power supply that will convert the 12 volts of the car to something that the Dell's happy with. And so that the netbook can be switched on automatically, I built a small circuit which you can see in there. That circuit will read the power from the ignition, and it will, seeing that there's the engine's been switched on, it will send a pulse to the netbook and switch it on. And the same circuit will actually, when the ignition is switched off, send another pulse to the netbook and switch it down. So obviously we need some way of being able to do that automatically, because when it's hidden away we're not going to want to have to try and push switches and things like that. So I wanted the whole thing to be automatic, just like a head unit would be in a car. So that little circuit takes care of that automation. Now once it's all mounted and I received the part that I've been waiting on from China for the last 2 months, the output, so being able to select songs and so forth, will be displayed on the car's head unit. So once that little part turns up, then I'll be able to finish this project, mount it, hide all the wiring, and no one will know that it's there, and it will it'll look like just any standard head unit. No one would know the difference. And of course, to control it once it's hidden away, we have, again from China, eBay, this wonderful little remote control which has all the media buttons that we're going to need on it, and including a few extra ones such as like a mouse control in case we need to have that function available. So let's open it up. Now, because I am still waiting on this part from China, anytime I need to do anything with it at the moment or use it, and it is usable, I need to open the lid so we can see the screen. So there you go. So we hop in the car, switch the engine on, and you'll see power supplied to the unit. My little circuit there, that waits till the engine stabilizes and the voltage stabilizes, and then it applies the signal to the netbook. So obviously we need a little bit of a delay there, just to make sure everything's up and running okay before the netbook fires up. So you can see it's done that. It's running Windows 7 Starter, which I chose because it's quickest to boot up, which is important in this situation, and also it's light on resources, which is also important because this is just a netbook, so it's not overly powerful. So we wanted something that was going to be fairly light, so Windows 7 Starter was ideal. Now once Windows loads up, the next thing it does is it automatically runs XBMC, which is probably the single best media center type software that I've come across. It's highly customizable. It's got a great support network, lots of people writing little add-ons and customizations for it, so you can do anything you want. Now once it runs Windows and XBMC fires up, XBMC then resumes playing from where we last switched the engine off. So resume obviously is important because, again, just like a head unit, I want the thing to remember what and where it was playing and start off from there again. So there you have it. So that's the CarPC so far, and as I said, I do want it to play more than just media, so let's show you how that's going to work. So if I decide I want to read the ECU details, just go back to the main screen. Main screen of XBMC. We've got different things you can choose from. Obviously, most often I'll be choosing music, but yeah, I've got it set up for videos, ECU talk, and some other things. So let's read out that information from the ECU. So I'm using a program called ECU Talk, and as you can see there, XBMC has responded to that button press, and it's now loaded up ECU Talk. ECU Talk starts by reading all the available sensors that are in the vehicle attached to the ECU, and just takes about 30 seconds for it to do that. And once it's finished reading the ECU sensors, it will bring up a full screen display. Now, I'm not going to have all of those dials. I don't need all of that information. I'm just going to weed out the ones I do and I don't want. Let's turn the music down a bit. Alright, so yeah, you can see certain things on the screen at the moment. So we've got RPM, which, like I said, this is live from the ECU. So you can see there it's responding to me pushing the accelerator pedal. So we've got a variety of information available: water temp, battery voltage, throttle position, timing. You've got the duty cycle of the injectors, the injection pulse width, airflow through the engine, through the intake, all sorts of things. So quite handy to know some of that information for various different reasons. So that is the software that we will have eventually showing on the head unit, and when we've had enough of the software, we just flick back to XBMC, and we can then say cancel, and we'll be back to the XBMC main screen. So there you go, that is CarPC as it stands at the moment. Still a work in progress. I'm still waiting on that little part from China, and the software does need tweaking still. A few little things that I want to change just to sharpen up the way it works. So let's show you what happens when we switch the engine off. There you go, circuit has detected that the ignition has been switched off, sent the pulse through to the netbook, and the netbook is now gracefully shutting down, which is obviously important. You need the Windows operating system to shut down properly, or obviously it will become unreliable. So there you have it. This is the CarPC. Still a project, an ongoing project, but drawing to its conclusion very shortly, with the addition of the little box from China that will let me see the output of the laptop on my head unit, and then with some minor tweaking to the software. And of course then it just needs to be mounted somewhere, hidden away, somewhere safe, and somewhere that it will still be accessible if I need it to be, although for the most part that won't be an issue. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing my little CarPC. Alright guys, see ya.